Hi, we're going to discuss attention deficit hyperactive disorder and how to know what to look for and get us some facts so we know what it truly can be like. First, let's define ADHD. It is a chronic disorder, meaning that it affects the individual's life from birth or whenever it's been discovered into adulthood. Symptoms are also pervasive, meaning they occur in multiple settings, whether just one. It's not just at school, it's not just at home, it's not just out when you're socializing. It's all the time. It's at school, it's at work, it's at home. Current research supports the idea of two distinct characteristics of ADHD: inattention and or hyperactivity and impulsivity. In the United States, as of 2011, 11% of students between the ages of 4 and 17 have been diagnosed with ADHD. That is about 6.4 million students. The increase in numbers identified in recent years are as follows. In 2003, there was 7.8%. In 2007, 9.5%. And in 2011, as we saw on the previous slide, 11%. Now that is a 42% increase in just 8 years. That's a lot. So why the increase? Well, to begin with, there's more awareness. More teachers and parents are able to understand why their student or child is having issues in school and at home. There's information all over the internet. They can look at the internet and find out the definition, what categories, which we're going to discuss here shortly. And ADHD can also be accompanied by other problems such as a learning disability. According to the DSM-5 from the American Psychiatric Association 2013, there are 3 subtypes of ADHD. Predominantly inattentive, predominantly hyperactive impulsive, and combined. And we're going to discuss those. Predominantly inattentive. They must show difficulty with 6 or more of these characteristics: paying attention to detail, paying attention to academic and social activities, listening when someone speaks directly to them. That can be a teacher or a parent, somebody in charge, following instructions and finishing tasks. Homework. If you give them more than a couple of instructions, they have issues. Organizing tasks and activities. They can't put things together that they would have to do a task or an activity. Sustaining mental effort. The time it takes to constantly think about this specific task to get it done. Tests, assessments, etc. are hard for them. Keeping track of necessary supplies. Where's your pencil? Where's your notebook? Where's your textbook? Those kind of things. Avoiding distractions. If they cannot keep from being distracted, they have those issues. And remembering daily activities. You know, did you brush your teeth? Did you wash your hands? And how things go. Due to not being disruptive, these students are overlooked many times. They're the quiet ones. They internalize their behaviors. They're the daydreamers that are constantly, they haven't finished their homework, but you're constantly seeing them watching out the window because, there's a lot of activity going on. Predominantly hyperactive impulsive. They have a hard time keeping their hands and feet to themselves, staying in their seat, staying seated, resisting running and climbing in appropriate situations, participating quietly in leisure activities, resisting being constantly on the go, talking excessively. They can sit there and talk to you and just go from subject to subject to subject. Blurting out answers, maybe having a classroom discussion and they may know it, so they just blurt it out instead of raising their hand, waiting to take their turn, and interrupting others. These students externalize their behaviors and are disruptive, and they are easier to identify. Combined. This is the third classification subtype and is the most common. It is when students have features of both inattentive and hyperactivity impulsivity. They have academic challenges, social challenges, increased prevalence of both internalizing and externalizing behaviors. It's just something that they can't, some things they'll internalize, some things they just blow up. Do all students with ADHD demonstrate the same characteristic behaviors? That's simple. No. As you see, each of the characteristic types have 9 characteristics. Some students are going to be able to do a couple of the things without a problem. Some are going to be inattentive, others are going to be hyperactive, impulsive, and some will be, just depends, but they're combined. The intensity of internalizing and externalizing will vary with each person. You've got to think of your students as being individuals. Don't put them in a box. Same with characteristics of the subtypes. Not all students will have the exact same character or behavior. Some kids shake their knees, stand up a lot, daydream, get lost in their thoughts, interrupt. Some of them just have to stand at their desk and do their work, and they may be shifting back and forth. In 2014, the IDA classification of ADHD put it under other health impairments. Students with other health impairments have limited strength and alertness, including and heightened alertness to environmental stimuli. Some students have to have it be quiet and no distractions, no windows, no music or other students talking, resulting in limited alertness with respect to educational environment, and that includes is due to chronic acute health problems such as asthma, attention deficit disorder, or attention deficit hyperactive disorder. It adversely affects the student's or the child's educational performance. A lot of times the kids with ADHD can be highly intelligent. They soak in so much, but they can't get it out in writing, so you have to change how you do things in the classroom for them. Let's talk about some effective class-wide intervention. This will help both with students who do not have ADHD or your general education classroom students. It is a good thing to use. The classes that utilize the effective class-wide intervention will have more positive teacher-student interactions. It's going to promote learning and engagement while reducing behavior problems. It doesn't use a single type of intervention, but uses a combination of behavior management practices and applies classroom rules. Some of the interventions include use of close supervision and monitoring, establishing and teaching classroom rules, increase opportunities to respond, OTRs. OTRs give some students who really want to raise that hand and answer or be impulsive to give them more opportunity. Increase contingent praise. Children thrive on praise, on being told they're doing great, being told that's an awesome answer, providing feedback and error correction and monitoring to progress. Teaching sometimes isn't just speaking to the students, it's talking to them and talking with them and listening to them and then providing feedback saying, no, this is how we're going to have to do it because this is the way it goes. Correcting an error and monitoring their progress because, you need to know where your students are. And implementing the good behavior game. This is something I think helps with many students. Kids like to be rewarded, and they should be rewarded for positive behavior. So let's discuss the good behavior game. This is an approach to the management of the classroom behaviors that rewards students for displaying appropriate behavior. So you're going to be teaching those students who have had inappropriate behavior, appropriate behavior by, in a way, rewarding them. The class is divided into 2 teams and are given points for inappropriate behavior. So if you have 2 teams and you can divide the class how you want, the boys against the girls, or this half of the classroom versus that half, or you can do the number system of 1, 2, 1, 2. The team with the least amount of points at the end of the day gets a reward. And you can have preset levels. Say, okay, nobody can get over 5 points today. And the person, and if they both hit, say 3 points or 3 and 2 points for the whole day, which is really an awesome number, they share reward. And sometimes when the whole class gets to share reward, it kind of brings about a camaraderie, and their peers become better at understanding, and it helps the students help those who need help with, hey, let's not do that because we're going to get in trouble or we're going to lose points. And making it a game makes it fun. And the rewards don't have to be something expensive, or, it could be that you give them a movie time, or at the end of the day you read to them, depending on what grade level they're at. Kids love to be read to. Or you can say, okay, for every time you guys hit your thing, hit your points, or you're the lowest points, this is your reward. It's been proven that since this program has been implemented in 1969, many articles have been confirming that this game is an effective means of increasing on-task behavior, which means students are getting their work done, they're learning. They're not having issues and behavioral issues. And the reduction of disruption in the classroom, which means you as a teacher have more time to teach, have more time for instruction, have more time to say, this is what I want to accomplish today. I think as we step back and realize there's going to be times when all of our students are going to have issues with inattentiveness or hyperactivity, impulsivity, we have to remember when it comes to ADHD, it's not something that happens sporadically. It's a constant thing for them. It's something that we need to look at and say, okay, over the last 2 months, Tommy's been unable to sit still in his seat, constantly interrupts the class, is wanting to get up and walk around, impulsively answers questions without raising his hand, won't wait his turn. Or Susie, she's quiet, she doesn't interact well with the other kids, her social skills at school, that's when we can approach the parents and talk to them about some things. One thing to remember, we cannot tell them that they have to use medication. That is a no-no. But what we can do is encourage the parent to get an assessment, to answer the questionnaires that are out there that the school may be using that in which you teach in. So just remember that all our students are students first, and remember we have to teach to the way the student learns. Even if they're not special ed. If you're not a special ed teacher, you're a general ed teacher, it's how the student learns. Not every student learns by reading instructions or a book. Some are hands-on, some are readers, some are listeners. I hope this has been instructional. If you do need more research, it's all out there. My resources are at the bottom of each page. So, again, thank you and good luck.